seem to pick on you, don't they, Casper? Why is it?
Don't know, sir.
There should be an immense sense of responsibility held by the creators when exploring a subject as tender as working class Britain, but some do not pay nearly enough attention to their ethical responsibilities when exploring a subject that is so contentious, especially in the UK. The three pieces that I'll be analysing are Ken Loach's Kes, Channel 4's Benefit Street, and Chris Killip's In Flagrante. Ken Loach, director of Kes, understood that living in a working class town didn't often equate to a big Hollywood ending, and he showed this in the composition of the film. In a review by TV scriptwriter Keith Dewhurst, he is quoted as saying, "There is no sentimental gush and no easy moral or black and white pat solution. There is merely a simple story about a Barnsley schoolboy who comes from a not very happy home. For many people, this is often a harsh reality, very little opportunity, and very little chance of breaking that glass ceiling, and this is a tastefully crafted theme throughout the story. The film wasn't about shocking the viewer for the sake of cinema, it was intended as an honest portrayal."
It's hopeless case, isn't it?
Loach and Hines were delicate when handling the idea of Billy Casper's future, using the kestrel as a metaphor for Casper's freedom and prospects. Loach stated, "I was struck by the simplicity of the story's metaphor. It was not too political, it was basically a story about one boy and his bird, and with plenty to say about the working class culture and aspirations. This delicate touch was a welcomed break from the uncompromising social realist films of the 50s and 60s. When showing the finished film to the United Artists executives, they responded with, "I would have preferred it in Hungarian," as they did not understand the dialect.
That's enough of that, Casper. I asked the...
They went on to suggest they wouldn't release the film in the States without dubbing it first, an eventuality that Ken refused. Loach's refusal of this proposition shows how much he cared about the authenticity of his characters and Hines' story. Benefit Street set out to examine one of the most infamous streets in Birmingham, James Turner Street. The show received major backlash from the viewers and even the occupants of the street for being a misrepresentation of the community. At a meeting held by Channel 4, one of the residents stated, "This is not a community of scroungers, we are a good community. Channel 4 needs to take this programme off the air." The fact that someone had to clarify this perception, that these people were not scroungers, shows that Channel 4 and Love Productions did not pay nearly enough attention to their roles as responsible filmmakers. Another example of how they didn't show proper care when handling this hypersensitive subject is the lack of balance throughout the show's contributors. One couple that attended the meeting said that "we thought we were going to be a major part of episode 6, but we were told that the series had been cut from 6 parts to 5. In a response to these comments, Kieran Smith of Love Productions claimed that not everyone filmed for documentaries makes the final cut. But this begs the question, why did they choose to cut this particular family? This family's differing story would have made for a better balanced view of the street and may have subverted some of the harmful stereotypes that came before it. But with axing this family, it showed that Channel 4 weren't interested in the responsibility of showing an accurate depiction, but instead making a divisive show that would cause controversy. In Flagrante is a series that shows Chris Killip's relationship with Newcastle upon Tyne and its people.
I could relate to those people because I thought they were a continuation of the people that I came from in the Isle of Man.
Killip shot in black and white, but his imagery never looked void of emotion, and this is because the people he was shooting felt comfortable around him, as people took him as their own. According to Hyperallergic, Killip lived in the northeast and got to know people in the communities he documented, and wasn't regarded as an interloper as he took his photographs. Killip's ability to make himself part of the fabric of his chosen cities is the reason why his work is so special, because without his subject's vulnerability, we would not see the side of the northeast that Killip wanted us to see. Killip repaid this vulnerability with a dignified representation of the subjects. However, a counter-argument to Killip's warmth and honest photography is the last image of In Flagrante, which shows a collapsed woman, but as you can see by Killip's shadow, he's using a 90-degree camera lens in order to be inconspicuous. In an article by Getty, Gregory Halpern says he is not claiming to be a saint, nor is he speaking from a place of ethical superiority, as is sometimes the case with political or social documentary work. This opens the question as to how much responsibility does a creative hold, because as we've seen, Killip spent a lot of time crafting relationships with these communities and tried to portray them in an honest manner, but also used tactics to try and get images that he appears not to feel comfortable with a normal lens. This contradiction prompts the question, is continuity an important factor when shooting tender subjects such as working class? As Benefit Street has also had some praise for its ability to bring light to a damning subject, with one of the residents stating in the aforementioned interview, "At least now people can see what it's actually like. I'm glad Channel 4 have highlighted the poverty." When in contrast, Loach was unwavering in keeping Kes true to its roots. With such contentious subjects always come division, therefore it is extremely hard to have a universal ethical responsibility when shooting the working class, as what one person may find enriching, another may find damaging.